Well, we can speak to Stephen Rogers, who is a retired US military intelligence officer. Stephen, thank you so much indeed for your time. Moscow, Pyongyang, Tehran and Beijing, well, that's pretty much same old, isn't it?
Well, it sure is. But in reference to China, they're becoming more bold and aggressive with regard on a number of fronts. Economically, you just heard about the stealing of intellectual property, but the big concern now is their military strength. They're not being lax at all with regard to building a very strong Navy. There's a lot of mischief they're causing in the South Pacific. They certainly sent Taiwan a message a few weeks ago. So the Biden administration really has to think about gathering a lot of intelligence and information with reference to China, because we have a real tough road to go with them.
Yeah, does it almost look like an impossible job in terms of how America's military strength could counter what China is doing, especially you meant the South China Sea, right? Where China is building these fake islands and therefore saying that they can extend their territorial possession into the wider South China Sea. That is such an integral part of the world for world trade. I think something like at least 35% of the world's trade that goes across the oceans and the waters passes through the South China Sea. But what can America realistically do considering China's might?
Well, the one thing that the Biden administration should not do is appease them. Try to appease them. Try to negotiate and sit down. You've got to be very, very strong. We've seen past administrations send very clear messages to China, especially going back as far as President Ronald Reagan. Peace through strength. We have to keep our carrier task force in the South China Sea, not back down in any way, shape, or form with regard to their attempts to intimidate Taiwan. You can't negotiate with people who have one thing on their mind, and what they have on their mind is world domination. We all know they're controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, and they're now going to try to bully this administration into doing things that prior administrations would never do.
There's a philosophical battle here, isn't there? If William Burns is talking about Russia, North Korea, Iran and China, I mean, you could say in terms of the American setup and being this bastion of liberal democracy, that these countries are slightly ruled in a different kind of way. So there's a philosophical contest as well. How does America begin to counter that in terms of countries that it can bring on board who may previously have thought, well, where are we going to go? Are we going to go towards the east or are we going to go towards the west?
Well, we have to show the other countries that the United States is not a clear and present danger. The United States is a capitalist country. We have to show, yes, we are free. We are a country that believes in freedom and liberty, whereas in China, for example, there is no freedom and liberty there. The people criticize their government. They pay a price. Vladimir Putin, he has a strong hold on Russia. They're not as bad as China. And North Korea, well, you know, this guy, this leader out there, apparently his hobby is executing people. So we have to make sure that freedom, liberty, and capitalism is what people desire, not that they want to walk away from. And just keep in mind that when I look at the balance of power, I don't believe Vladimir Putin wants us to be close to China. I don't believe President Xi wants us to be that close to Russia. So there's a lot of competing differences here. And we're going to see at the end of the day where all this lands. But it's not going to be good for the United States if we move forward with an idea that we could appease anyone. We got to be tough and we have to be strong.
Stephen, do you not think that possibly the future in terms of confrontation is not necessarily going to be military and hardware, but going to be a cyber confrontation? How is America shaping up in terms of the challenges regarding cyber warfare?
Well, you bring up a very good point, and you're absolutely right. We're probably looking at cyber warfare more than anything else. We're talking about closing down infrastructures. We're talking about using the electronic footprints, if you will, and equipment we have to disrupt water supplies, communication supplies. Now, with regard to the United States, as far as I know, our government has been very, very focused on building up our cyber walls, if you will. But again, credit to President Trump when he was in office. He started the Space Force, and a lot of that has to do with preventing any type of cyber attack against the United States. So the U.S. government's on top of it. Now, the question is, can they keep this secret? Can they keep it quiet? And hopefully they'll be able to do that as we move forward.
Stephen Rogers, very much appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much.